Welcome to the next episode of The Next Big Thing. My name is Ethan Lee Chalk, and today I'm here with...
Olli Hotton.
How are you doing today, Ollie?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good. The nerves starting to kick in. Draft day slowly approaching?
Oh, a little bit, yeah. Well, it'll be more nervous, like, last couple of nights before it, but I'm still in the process of doing meetings and all that sort of thing. So, the nerves are kicking pretty soon, I think.
I was just wondering if you can speak about a bit of your early life playing footy.
Well, I started playing footy, right from the get-go. Auskick, I was about 5 or 6, and then to the Hampton Rovers in under 8s and 9s. But a bit in that sort of when I was like 6, I think I moved to the UK and lived in England for 2 years. So, I stopped playing footy for a couple of years and started playing soccer over there and just kind of hated it. So I came back over and started prep and picked the footy back up. So started again.
Did you ever think about going into soccer, or no? Footy's always been the one that you've kind of leapt towards.
Definitely footy. I tried out soccer while I was in the UK, and then came over and I played footy, basketball, and soccer for a few years, and then I just ended up hating soccer and dropped it after it's like a season, I think. Soccer was never. I don't enjoy that sport.
And you got a great, unique story. Your dad, a former player for Carlton Blues and also the Magpies, Collingwood Magpies. How was that growing up?
Pretty good. So he retired the year before I was born, so I was never around to sort of experience it firsthand. But it's just been helpful, I guess, to have his sort of insight on things and get his advice on the AFL life. And he's got he's come from experience, so you got to take what he says pretty seriously. And so it's been pretty helpful, I guess, along the way. So it's a bit of a bonus for me.
Have you tried to look up highlights video on YouTube or anything from when he played?
Yeah. He pulls out the highlight reels every now and then. He shows us the good games. I let him know about the bad ones, but he had a couple of all right ones. So we've watched a few of them. He forced us.
I know a lot of kids as well. They're always interested, the footy cards, every year the base. Did he have any footy cards?
He actually did. We've got one. We still got a couple at home that he kept from back in the day. He did, which is pretty cool actually.
And I know that your dad played AFL, but how did you kind of first become interested in it? Was it always was AFL always on around the household?
I guess footy's been massive in my family, not just my dad. My uncle was also at Collingwood with him. Didn't get a game in the ones, but and my mum's brother as well was on the Hawthorn list. So a lot of my family have played, and it's a pretty rich background. So I guess from a young age, there's always been a footy around, and in Australia, a lot of kids get brought up with a footy in their hands. So I think I was one of them, and just took it on from there.
And I know you probably have your dad and uncle and mum, like you just said, as your role models. Who was kind of your role model from the footy arena, when you were growing up, who you're watching and stuff?
I've always said that I never really modeled my game off anyone in particular. I think that I just played to my strengths, and then I get comparisons to players now, I guess, from my own game. But I wouldn't say I particularly modeled it off anyone or look up to anyone. But I've gone for the Pies, so I looked up to Pendles and what he's been doing over the last decade. He's just been unreal. So I think he's probably the one.
Talking about Pendlebury at the moment, still playing 300 plus games at the moment. I know you don't really get to choose kind of who you get drafted to.
Yeah.
Is there a team that you want to get drafted to? Is Carlton and Collingwood probably on the top of that list? Collingwood especially on the top of that list, especially a young roster. Dacos brothers coming through now.
I think Collingwood will be up there. I think they've got to pick sort of around where I'm hopefully aiming to sort of be around the mark. So Collingwood. I think they're be a good spot. It's pretty close, and as you said, a rebuilding list, so it'd be a bit easier to slide in there. But honestly, I'm happy to wherever I land, I'll be stoked. So I'm just really excited.
And a Victoria boy yourself, will it be hard if you got selected by an interstate team, or are you ready for that challenge?
No, I think there's pros and cons to both. I've had to think about it quite a lot recently, and if I go into state, I'd be pretty happy with it because you get to sort of move out and like you've got a lot of independence living in another state from your your parents and your family. So I think it's the pros of that is that you get to start your own life sort of thing. And I think
Yeah.
I'll handle it pretty well and take on the challenge. I think it'd be good either way.
Have you kind of visited, like, in your own time, visited any other states, or is it all like totally like wherever you go will be like brand new for you?
No, I've been to where have I been? I've been to Queensland a few times. I go to New South Wales every year for Christmas time, sort of January.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a bit of holiday up on the beach there. But no, I've never been to South Australia or WA. So yeah, over there would be a bit different.
See, I'm from New South Wales myself, so grown up with the beach, River Beach. What beach do you normally go to? Like, do you have a favourite one here?
Well, so we go up to Pambula, if you know where that is, near like Marimbula sort of area.
Okay, okay.
We go there every year, so it's a pretty good surf spot there. So yeah, we enjoy it down there.
Are you going to try and continue that surfing? Also, maybe get into golf. I know a lot of AFL players, become golfers as well when they're playing professionally.
Yeah, I don't think I have a choice. I don't think I have a choice to become a golfer. It seems to be every single person. No, I do enjoy golf though. I'm just not too good at the moment. So I have to improve that.
You got to kind of improve your skill before you join a team.
Yeah, I might have to go out for a couple of hits next few weeks. But no, I'll keep up the surfing as well. I've been talking to a lot of clubs and that, and they really they actually want you to surf because it's a good activity to do, and yeah, they want you to do things other than just focus on footy. So I'll definitely keep that up. Hopefully, I go somewhere with a beach nearby.
And you played Sandringham Dragons this year.
Yep.
A lot of big names, especially the prospects, Will Ashcroft, Harry Sheasel, Cameron McKenzie. What was it kind of like, having them around as teammates?
It's a lot of people probably don't really suspect it though, but everyone at the club is sort of, I guess, on an even playing field when you think about it. Like everyone doesn't act, better than anyone else, and we'll down at the Dragons, we all got along really well, which you can probably tell with how we played at the end of the season. We all connected, and yeah, I think at the club, everyone's just such a good bloke and gets around and doesn't have an ego or anything. So I think it's just like hanging out with just any other mates. So I think it's really good down there.
And how good is it having who was kind of your mentor, like when you were playing for Sandringham? Like whether it was a coach or one of some of the more experienced players.
Yeah,
under their wing.
Yeah, well, I think Wayne Cripps, the head coach, was a big one for me. He was probably the main one, like in my corner, telling me to really take the game on and just play to my strengths, and was really backing me up on everything I was doing. So he was massive. And the forwards coach called Mark Cook, he was also a big influence on me for the last. I've been working with him for 2 or 3 years now. So them two together just really helped me develop.
And especially coming through the ranks, playing junior footy. What do you kind of I know you just said they're your mentors, for Sandringham, but who really helped you, along the way, coaching wise, or teammates, or just trying to help you develop as a better player through the junior ranks of footy?
Well, I think that would be my dad.
Yeah.
He's obviously been there because through juniors you have a different coach every year or two, so you can't really have someone throughout the whole time. So I think Dad's been a bit of constant throughout the years. So yeah, just as I said before, his sort of insight to what recruiters are looking for and what sort of attributes I need to show on the field to sort of get recognised. So that's been him throughout the years. That's post game, so putting out a couple of things that I can prove up for next week and just moving on that way.
And getting selected for Victoria Metro as well. How did you kind of not only find that experience, playing national championships, but how did you kind of realize that you were selected in the team? Was it an email, or did they give you a call, and then what was kind of the reaction when you found out?
Yeah, it was a bit surreal. So I think it was a school morning, and I'd slept in. They called me pretty early. I woke up to a missed call from Mark Wheeler, the head of the Dragons, and I was like, I didn't know what he'd be calling me about, so I kind of just got up ready for school and called him back, and he just told me to check my emails. And he sounded pretty excited, so I gave him a look, and I got an invitation from Paul Hamilton, who was he ran the Vic Metro squad, letting me know I'd been invited. So he was Mark's on the phone with me and congratulated me and stuff, and we talked about it, and yeah, I was pretty stoked. It was, I think, 2 days before the first Pracky match.
Oh wow,
For the
yeah.
Vic. Yeah, so I found out, and he's like, "Oh, get ready, you got a game in 2 days." I was like, "Oh, all right."
That's actually quite surprising that they didn't give you like a lot of notice. Like you would expect, like a couple of like at least like a couple of months, let alone like
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Well, the original squad had come out a few months prior, but I
Yeah.
was actually a replacement for some injuries and some late outs. So
Oh wow. Okay.
someone had pulled out the day before, and I'd been chucked in there. So um,
I
yeah,
know like it's a bad thing to say, but you probably are thankful, like, that you had that opportunity to play and kind of like, unfortunate for the person that like, missed out through injury,
yeah,
but like one man's like, unfortunate accident is like your success.
yeah, yeah. So I was, yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, I don't feel great, saying, "Oh, thank you, thank God that guy got injured,"
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it cut me out a little bit.
And draft combine, how was that? I know, in front of a lot of like, players and also like, coaches, scouts, things like that. How was that experience? And I know, what was it like talking with all the different teams?
That was actually a really good experience. I enjoyed the whole 3 days. It was it was a bit of a weird dynamic because you had a massive, like, really long hallway with each club in alphabetical order just lined up, and yeah, you'd have to walk past, like, if you're talking West Coast down the other end, you'd have to walk past every club with kids sitting out the front on the way down. So no, but it was really cool to see, like, live trade discussions and like head coaches and list managers talking to each other, discussing trades, and um, yeah, all the boys were just really excited, and they're all really good guys. All the recruiters and all the coaches, like, they're all really nice people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a bit draining, mentally. You get a bit tired by the end, but no, it was a really good experience, and thankful I was there.
Did you kind of have to like pinch yourself to like, make sure it was real?
Yeah, a little bit. You're like, why like, at night when you go to bed, you're like you just think about it. All the sort of, I guess, famous people you're seeing. I was having just a regular chat to Sam Mitchell and Robbie Gray. I'm just like, you don't really think about it at the time, but once you're laying in bed, you just, yeah, it's a bit surreal.
You're like, I grew up watching these guys. It's like, how is it like I'm in the same presence as them?
I know, it's weird.
And you ended up winning the grand final. Just going back to Sandringham, if that's all right. Ended up winning the grand final. Great game, 25 touches, including a goal to your name. How was it playing in a grand final? And has it kind of like gotten you ready for like, finals experience kind of like, down the track?
Yeah, I think it has. I think for all of the boys that were involved, it really helped to sort of give us a clear picture on how important that connection side of a team is. Because, with our team changing so much, we had, like, I think 73 different players put on the Dragons jersey this year. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was to finally get a consistent team week in, week out, and just with all us APS kids coming back, it was so we could see how important it was to really form a connection and get everyone on the same page. So I think it was good for everyone to get that experience and understand that importance. But then, yeah, the actual grand final itself was just a massive reward for a lot of effort. We all felt like it was big sort of excitement, but relief that all the work we put in had paid off. And yeah, it was some good celebrations.
Tell me about, I was just about to ask you about the celebrations, like, after you winning it. What were those celebrations, if you don't mind elaborating on it?
Yeah, well, it was a bit unfortunate for a few of us boys because we had the Vic Metro grand final the week after, like 6 days
So you
later.
couldn't really like celebrate, to like a full extent.
Nah, we had me, Shees, Kammer, Ashy, all had the waters out. So we all went to a mate's house after the game, and then everyone went out to somewhere in the city. Yeah, but we couldn't go like fully out, so we just had to sort of head to bed and get a good rest because we had a game in 6 days, which was really unfortunate. But
Oh no.
we made the most of it after, so it was all good.
Do you kind of like, you're looking forward to that celebration now, like, in the AFL Premiership, like, if you do win the grand final, hopefully that comes true. You're looking forward to like, celebrating completely, especially after,
Yeah.
not celebrating the Sandringham win.
Yeah, definitely. And that reward for effort will be a lot more than, even though we put in a lot of effort this year. I think at that next level it'll be pretty tough. So yeah, that would be the dream.
And now kind of like, in that purgatory mode, waiting for the draft. How are you still training at the moment, and what does that training schedule kind of look like for you?
Yeah, so I had a good three and a bit weeks off, just pretty much doing almost nothing. Um, my body was pretty knackered by the end of the year, so I needed some time off. And then this Monday, I started some running again. So I ran Monday, Wednesday, and then I just ran this morning. Got some sessions, and a few of us boys met. Kids signed to Paul Connors. We all met this morning. Had a really good hit out, so it was pretty tough. But yeah, I'm so getting back into running just so I don't go in underprepared. But I'm not gonna, really go too hard just so I'm not cooked for the start of the preseason. But
yeah, it must also be great. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say you were talking about getting a hit out with some of the boys. It must be great, like training with other people as well, like not just training by yourself.
Yeah, it's so much easier. Like running by yourself is pretty tough. You got, it's all personal sort of motivation, so it's pretty hard going. But I much prefer it when I get to run with some other boys to push me.
Is it running just like just like random tracks, like random streets, or is it like on the dunes, on like beaches, stuff like that?
My ones by myself were just at the AS track, my local one, but the one today was at the tan in the city. So yeah, we mix up a little bit.
And apart from AFL, are you doing any work or study, or just fully focused on AFL at the moment?
Yeah, no, I've finished all my exams, so yeah, I'm not doing anything study or work wise. I'm gonna have probably a year off uni anyway next year. So yeah, I'm just gonna focus on footy for at least the first year, and then we'll start worrying about university and education after that.
And yourself playing the half forward, midfield kind of role, is that what you kind of expect to continue playing in the near future?
Yeah, I think definitely the first, if I'm lucky enough to sort of get on an AFL list, I think the first, 2 to 3 years I'll be predominantly a forward. Especially that first year if I get a game. But I think hopefully as further down the track as I develop and get a little bit more respect and better at my game, I think hopefully I'll chuck in the midfield a little bit. But I think to start with I'll definitely be just almost purely a forward.
No aspirations to play at the halfback or full back line?
Look, I wouldn't be opposed to it. A couple people have mentioned it actually, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd rather kick the goals.
Yeah, 100%. And wearing number also about coming into the rookie season.
Yeah.
Wearing number 21 at the Dragons, your dad wore kind of number 31, Pies, 37 at Carlton. Is there a kind of a specific number you're hoping to wear?
It depends. Yeah, it sort of depends where I go. I'm not too fast to be honest, but
if you had the choice, if you had the choice to pick any number on the back of the Guernsey, what would it be?
If I had the choice, it'd be 7. Dad was only 37 because 7 wasn't available. So most of my family all loves the number 7. So yeah, if I had a choice, I'd go with the 7. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'll probably just get chucked a random one and then maybe change after years.
I know a lot of young guys, they always get it in the high numbers, like the 40s or high 30s, high 50s. Hopefully you get the 7, but I think it might be kind of a bit of time until you get that 7, unfortunately.
I might get 58 or something.
Just a couple more questions. What has been not so far in your career, still very young yourself, but what has been, would you say, the highlight of your career? Would you say national championships? Would you say it was the grand final at Sandringham, or was there another kind of highlight that you've achieved?
I think this year that the Dragons grand final has been the highlight. I don't think I can go past that. That was a pretty unreal experience. But I think, other than that, there would have been a game last year for school footy, where we played Brighton Grammar. So it's a bit of a rivalry. Because I'm Haileybury, Brighton Grammar sort of match, and one of my mates, Jacob Anderson, kicked a match winner with 10 seconds to go from pretty tough angles. So I think that was my most favourite memory personally. But this year, the grand final.
Did all the schoolmates kind of? I'm not sure if it was home or away game, but did they all jump on jump onto the field afterwards?
Yeah, it was a home game, so.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
It's so much better, you know, kicking a match winner like after, like, you know, just after, or, you know, with like seconds to go, especially when you're at home rather than being away, because you don't really get to celebrate that much.
Yeah, exactly.
And looking into the future, obviously, you know, goal is being selected in the draft, but what is kind of like, you know, some personal goals for you?
I think if I'm not going to look too far ahead just to next season, I think just getting that first game, you know, in my first year, I think that'd be a good achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I'm lucky enough to play a few, I'd probably look for hopefully a rookie of the year nomination for one round. You know, that'd be the pinnacle for a year. I don't really want to look too far past that. I'm going to take it a year at a time, but yeah, I think that's the main one.
Are there any skills that you're hoping, like, you know, to develop more over the course of the next season?
I think, well, not skills per se. I think my fitness is just the one thing that I want to really crack in, especially in the pre-season. I want to get as fit as possible, just because I feel like the fitter I get, sort of the better my game gets, which I found throughout the season as I got fitter. So I think that fitness I need to get, you know, improved to getting super fit, and then probably just work on sort of my penetrative kicks a bit more as well.
Just one more question. What advice would you kind of give to any younger guys or girls hoping to play in the AFL or AFLW one day when they're older?
I think just to, you know, it took a while for me to realize, but just to understand that it's not going to just all happen for you. You know, you got to put in some work, because there's a lot of kids around Australia trying to get the same goal you are. And only, you know, 50 to 60 get drafted every year. So it's going to take some work to get better than the rest. So I think as early as possible to sort of crack in and change your mindset towards just wanting to work hard. And I think building some good fitness pretty early is helpful, because otherwise there's a lot of pain, you know, trying to get fit once you're a bit further down the track. So yeah, I think cracking in a bit early.
Thank you very much, Ollie, for letting me interview you this morning. Hopefully it kind of didn't put you out of your way, and I wish you all the best, especially like, you know, with the draft coming up and also going into the new season. With whatever team, I gotta interview again to see what team you end up landing on.
Yeah, all right, I'll hold you to that.
Fingers crossed it's Collingwood.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see.
Have a good one.
All right, thanks for having me.